Hi everyone, so I wanted to change my altar space as it's getting more wintry now, and I wanted to change the setup. That was the setup I've currently got on the altar is the Mabon altar, and I wanted to change that, so I decided to change it today. So I'm taking off first of all my items, and you'll notice my goddess candle's missing. You'll see why in a bit. And what I'm doing is taking off all the pieces that I use. I have like a wide range of items that I use to decorate my altar space. And what I do is I lay them off to the side, and then I can decide what I'm going to use, what I'm going to put back on the altar space, and what's going to go into storage. This is a little set of 3 drawers that I set up my altar on, and the bottom 2 drawers, well, it's part of the top drawer, but the bottom 2 drawers mainly I keep the spare altar decorations in. So I've got plenty of things if I want to swap and change things around. So first of all, I needed to clean the table, the top of the cupboard. So I just wiped off any dust with a cloth and just gave it a little wipe over. It was fairly clean actually, and there was just a tiny little bit of wax stuck, which you can see me getting off there, but that came off fairly easily. And the first thing I did was selected a cloth that I could use. I wanted to put an altar cloth back on. I don't always use an altar cloth. Sometimes I like just having the bare wood because it's a nice dark deep shade for the wood, and I do quite like that, but I decided I wanted to put an altar cloth on, and the one I chose is more of a sort of Halloweeny themed one. It's got a skull on and a rose on and lots of sort of lacy detail. It's like one of those little lacy tablecloth type things, and it's quite small, so I used that, and you'll see that in a little bit. And then I cleansed with some smoke as well, cleansed the area before I start putting items on as well. I like to do this before I decorate the altar, just to freshen the space up and make it ready for the next altar setup. And this is the cloth I was talking about. It's just something I picked up. I think it was from the pound shop last year. And I like it because it's that sort of lacy effect, but it just finishes off the table really nice. And then in the centre I placed my new altar tray that I made in the previous tutorial, and I've got all my candles set up on there now. I decided I wanted a candle centerpiece for my altar at the moment. I just felt it fitted with the season, and I was just inspired to make this, so that's what I did. Then I'm using my artificial autumn leaves and laying those around underneath the altar tray, just to add that splash of colour and break up the black, because obviously so far there's a lot of black on the table. And I did want to have a hint of autumnal colours to this, so I decided to add those. And then I was one leaf short, so I had to search underneath for a spare one. I've got loads of these. This was a pack I bought last year, and I think I had about 100. And yeah, I've got them in drawers all over the shop. I've got loads of them, so, and they've come in useful for quite a lot of projects. I then placed on my fresh little mini decanter of moon water and my incense holder with my incense stick still burning. I was enjoying the smell of this. This one's like a sort of kind of lavender mixed with something smell. I can't place what the other smell is, but it smells really nice. It's definitely a floral scent. I just can't think what it is, but it smells really nice. Then I put my stag statue as usual on the altar, and that always goes on the left. It always feels right having it on the left. It feels weird if I put it anywhere else. And it's got some of my crystal jewellery and things like that around it. I tend to put them on there. Keeps them safe, and also I just think it looks good. Then onto the tray I put some of my crystals. I always have a piece of rose quartz on my altar. Then my citrine for this, which fits in with this sort of season, and selenite and tiger's eye. I also put my little charcoal burner on the altar space on the left. And I've got a couple of bead bracelets which are just behind that. I always leave like my bracelets and jewellery and things on my altar space before, when I'm not wearing them. It's just a nice safe place to keep them, and I just feel, I just prefer to keep them on my altar space. It kind of makes them more special instead of just being like a random piece of jewellery. Then I've got a little bit of this autumn leaf garland left. I used this in the snail tank video when I added an autumnal Halloweeny theme to my snail tank. And I had a little bit of it left over which I wanted to use on my altar space. Obviously you don't have to use this, and you can have the altar space really plain if you like, but I just felt it needed just a little touch of something, a little bit more to the space. And I did have to fiddle around with this second piece a lot more. This second piece is a bit like squished and a bit bent out of shape, and it doesn't look as good as the other piece. So it takes a bit of fiddling and laying it around to get it to look all right, which is why I keep messing with it. And then I also had there was a piece of like bare plastic hanging off, which was getting in my way, so I cut that off. And I placed that on the right, and then just put my moon water glass decanter thing just behind it. Sorry about that, I'm just moving the camera around. My tripod wasn't cooperating. I'm using my old tripod for this. This tripod doesn't film face down, so I use a different one for the regular filming, but for this, like, upright filming, I use this. And I hadn't quite tightened it right, so everything was moving, and I nearly dropped the iPad. That's why it all just went a bit weird, so excuse that brief moment of weirdness. And after I've tweaked the tripod, it'll stay still. There we go. So that's what the altar looks like so far. And then I had to think about what other things I wanted to add. And I tend to do this quite intuitively. I don't sort of plan ahead what I'm going to make or what I'm going to put on the altar. Literally an idea pops into my head and I just go with it. And as I'm placing things on the altar, I'll get an idea to put something else on. And I got the idea to put on some micro LEDs. I had this on last time because it's quite nice. It lights up the altar well. And also, if I'm having a day where my asthma's a bit off and I can't burn the candles, I'll put these little lights on instead. So it still gets that nice little magical glow to it when I'm sitting there reading or writing in my book of shadows, or when I'm doing a ritual or something. So it lights the area up nice even if I can't use my candles. And what I like about these little micro LEDs is they're not too over the top and don't take up too much space, so you can still see the candles and everything else on the altar space. And also the wire's quite stiff, so if you bend the wire into a certain position, it stays there, which is quite nice. And you haven't got like a big thick electrical cord hanging around or anything. I then moved my incense stick over a little bit. I just had to shake it off because the big pile of ash was about to fall off. I then placed my runes back on the altar. I always keep my runes on the altar. That's just where they stop. These ones, the ones I've just placed on, are my handmade ones made from polymer clay. But I do also put my crystal ones back on as well in their bag shortly. So those ones are my shop bought crystal ones, and then that little bag is my handmade ones. I like the fact I can have one bag on either side, so it's nice and symmetrical as well. I do prefer symmetry. And then it was time to light my candles. And I think it looks absolutely beautiful when all the candles are lit. It just looks really, really nice. And this, I don't know, there's something about the glow of candlelight I've always preferred. So sometimes what I'll do is sit here and I won't have the lights on or anything. I'll just have the candles on and just sit there and relax by candlelight. I then added on the right hand side, I've got like another little, it's like a antique tea light holder, which I got from the charity shop at some point. And I decided to place that on the right hand side so I can have a little bit more light and a little extra candle on the right. And then I've got my pumpkin, which has been on my altar since I harvested it as an offering. I place that at the back. I've also got my little goddess statue that I made at the front and placed my little rune pendant things that I made. I've got those placed at the front of the altar space as well. I always keep those on the altar. And that's it. That's my current altar setup. I may leave this for Samhain as well, or I might add a couple of things. If I change anything, I'll do a Samhain altar setup as well. But yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Blessed be, and bye for now.